All right, looks like we are live. Doing a mic check real quick, just like we always do in the beginning of the stream while we let some people trickle in. If you've come to the Friday Gaming GameFi live stream, well, you're in the right place for raising that crypto IQ. All right, looks like we are live. All right, good on that. Let's pop over to our bubble maps and check it out. So we're on the daily bubble maps. Looks like meme core pumping still. Is this just a daily? So 15% on the day. That's pretty cool. IMX, Pepe, Doge, Hex. What is Doge at right now? 27 cents. A high 27 cents. Almost 28 cents. This thing, most recent local all-time high, I guess you would say, I think is about 48 cents. So is that where we're headed back to? I don't know, but I hope so. Let me make sure I do not have a VPN on. All right, no VPN on. And there's a whole bunch of games that we're going to look at today and play with, of course. We're going to break down what GameFi is and why you should care about it. What is play to earn gaming? Can you make any money gaming? And what does it mean to have real ownership of your items in game? All kinds of cool little things to explore, but we'll do our usual warm up here. Take a look. Bitcoin 116,000, almost flat. Love to see that trending back up. Look at that Ethereum. I say I love it above 4,000. 4,712. It really does feel like we're heating up here. And if we go to our Fear and Greed Index, we've moved out of the neutral zone and into the greed. So we've now entered the greed, but very low, just barely. You can see yesterday we were still in neutral. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to compare that to the Fear and Greed Index on Crypto Rank, and it's 57 as well. So that's like the third day of us comparing this, and it checks out. So that's pretty cool. And then we will go to trending cryptos before we hop back over here. XRP, I say I love it above $3, $3.11. All these are looking really good. Very strong day in the market for meme coins. For altcoins, I really should say, not meme coins. Solana 242, BNB 925, Dogecoin 27.5. It said 27.8 on Crypto Bubbles, but maybe it's not up to date. Maybe it lags behind a couple minutes. Cardano, 91 cents. Hopefully going to break that dollar for all my Cardano people out there. Chainlink, $25. Hyperlink, $55.20. That's usually where we end it, but let's look at SWI. $3.72. I think we'll start ending it on SWI instead of Hyperliquid because, well, I own some SWI and I think it's a great blockchain. That's why. So let's hop over to what GameFi is all about. Oh, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, actually. We are. Let's go to trending. What's trending today? I mean, the what's trending is going to start being a lot more exciting. Reliable J in the house. What's up, man? Glad that you're here. Appreciate you showing up. And we're GameFi today. You know, we're going over GameFi projects. We're going to actually play a couple of games. We're just really taking it easy. It's Friday. Everybody is having a good time on a Friday. Why can't we have a good time too, even if we're deep diving and researching? So we have this hi-fi finance. Right now we're just going over what's trending. So up, well, what happened there? It said it was up a lot. Up 441.5% in the last 24 hours, but the max chart says down 8%. On its, of course, max chart. Came out at about 50 cents January 11th, 2023. Ethereum contract. Let's check out their website. I don't really know what this hi-fi finance is. Obviously, it says finance, so it must be in the finance category. Tokenize everything. Borrow with hi-fi. Tokenizing things, I mean, that sounds like real-world assets. Yep, down here. The tokenization of every major asset class is on the horizon. Hi-fi lets you borrow against tokenized assets. From real estate to stocks, this next wave of innovation will be huge. It's early, but the tokenization of real-world assets represents the single largest onboarding of value to blockchains that will ever occur. Join us as we participate directly in lending against tokenized real estate assets. Now, Pudgy Party with the Kids. I'm not as familiar with that, but I'm sure it's part of Pudgy Penguins. This is a lot like the narrative that we just went over yesterday. Yesterday we did ArtFi. It's probably not the best idea to go live while Crypto Lifer was live. I totally forgot he was going to be live. Had to go back and rewatch his video. But either way, it was a great stream. We went over ArtFi, live art. What is the narrative? What is the niche? What is the category? And yeah, it was a really interesting live. I think we're way ahead of it, though. I don't think that people in crypto are really aware of what ArtFi is yet, but very much in the same kind of vein here, where they are trying to take everything art related or, watches, small things, and make them RWAs as well. So let's get back to what's trending here. We have Saros, which has just been on a tear lately. Lena, Hyperliquid, Avantis, Solana, Pump.Fun, My X Finance, of course. If you don't know that one right now, it has been crazy hot. Ondo, Pudgy Penguins, what Reliable J was just talking about. World Liberty Finance, Ethereum, Athena, Bitcoin, say a lot of ones that you would know. Seems like we moved from Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now we're going to see things like a Solana base blockchain, the next in line start to run before we see those way down the line start to run. Now let's check over to CryptoRank and see what they're saying is trending. Should be a lot of things similar, but it seems to give a little bit more information. And there are some things that we went over yesterday as well, like this Hollow World, Open Ledger. I think it's a Bitcoin portal is PTB. I don't know why I was hesitating on that one. Starknet we looked at, Wormhole. One Football, not sure what that is. You got Live Art. That was kind of the center of our stream yesterday. And see if there's anything real interesting here. I mean, if you've watched even a couple of my streams in the last couple of days, you've seen that we have covered pretty much all of this stuff, except for this One Football. Let's go look at that. Had no information at all, so who knows what the heck this thing is. All right, I'm already done with that. Seems like something maybe is just starting to kick off. It's not really got much information yet. Maybe it just launched, right? All right, so let's go over, let's talk about GameFi real quick so we can raise that crypto IQ. It says what GameFi really means and how it works. So GameFi literally means gaming plus finance, and it refers to blockchain-based games that integrate cryptocurrency, NFTs, and smart contracts into the gameplay. Anybody who's ever played a game is going to be able to follow along and understand why this is important. So core idea, players earn a real economic value like a token, an NFT, or in-game asset that can be traded or sold outside of the game. I mean, really, in a nutshell, that's what it really is all about, is that you could take the value that you've got in the game and sell it outside the game. A lot of games for a long time really frowned upon that kind of behavior, and if they found out that you sold an account to somebody else, a lot of times they would, delete the account or something like that. But now we're embracing it, right? How it works, built on blockchain like Ethereum, Solana, BNB Chain, or Polygon, in-game currencies, usually a crypto token. In-game NFTs could be skins or weapons, land or characters. Ownership is on-chain, not locked in the game developer's database. So usually you have something, it's in the gamers, the people who built the game's database, and that's that. Now you have on-chain ownership. You can take it somewhere like OpenSea if it's an NFT, and you could sell it to somebody else. So you could effectively make money playing games. That's why it's called play to earn. So the rise of play to earn, or P2E, and crypto-powered economies. Man. Play to earn. Players earn token, NFTs, and real-world value through gameplay. And I mean, think of a game that you play that you might want to see become, play to earn. Grand Theft Auto 6 is the one that most regular everyday gamers will talk about because of them maybe bringing in a cryptocurrency. That would be huge, onboarding people into crypto. That would be huge, especially for the younger generation. So the first wave was Axie Infinity back in 2021. Players earned tokens that could pay real bills in countries like the Philippines. I mean, there were many people in the Philippines living off of Axie Infinity. I remember I used to play a game called like Zoo Kun or Zoo Tycoon or something. Not Zoo Tycoon. What was it called? It's called Zune. That's what it was. And I was earning $150, $200 or more every day. Man, that was a great time. But it didn't last very long, I'll tell you that much. So current trend moving towards play to earn. Games emphasize fun plus sustainability, not just farming tokens. Crypto-powered economies. In-game markets where assets are traded peer-to-peer, we were just talking about that, staking and yield farming mechanics, and DAO governance, where the players can be very involved in the game's updates. That is another thing that is not talked about enough when it comes to GameFi, and that's, you know, how many times do they do updates and they rather are lackluster, the fans or the players just really not happy with the way that it went down, they took stuff away that was important to them. Well, now it could all be seen ahead of time before they do it, and people could overall vote, so at least it's majority of people will be happy. You'll never make everybody happy, right? So how NFTs and tokenized assets are changing digital ownership in game. So traditional gaming, you buy skins, loot, upgrades, but you don't own them. You're locked into the publisher's ecosystem. GameFi flips this. That's what we were just saying. NFTs, true ownership. Assets are portable, can be sold or even used across different games in the future. That's cool too. You see with a lot of the blockchain gaming that, you know, you get something, it's an NFT, and you might be able to use it in multiple games. I will show you some examples of that with the games that we're going to be looking at here in just a moment. Tokenized assets means scarcity in value, right? Great combination. Supply can be verified on chain. Owning virtual land in Decentraland or the Sandbox, tradable NFTs with real world value. Another really cool thing, if you got a little bit of money and there's a really good game or project that you like, is you could buy land in it, and then everything pays a very small tax. All the transactions that happen on your land digitally, and you can make a lot of money that way. I was very surprised. I think it was Decentraland. They were selling, you know, land slots for like 20 grand, 30 grand or more. And I don't know how that project is doing now. I feel like everybody said it was dead for the longest time, so it might be dead, but I'm not sure. So the top GameFi projects leading the space in 2025. So this is some good information. Axie Infinity, still a leader in P2E innovation. I have recently checked out their website, and they're still going. I don't think you can make near as much money, if any, from what you used to be able to. Illuvium is a AAA quality blockchain. This one people have been waiting on for a long time. And I mean, Illuvium's token at one point was worth over $1,000. Hey, what's up? What's up, Josh? Thanks for stopping in, man. Fins up, back to crypto. Yep, them fins, man. Hopefully they can do something special on Sunday, right? Shock everybody. Anyways, Gala Games, multiple game ecosystem, including Townstar and others. The Sandbox, Decentraland. So metaverse platforms. So you have gaming. Some of them are just games. Some of them actually have the metaverse platform. Hopefully later on down the line, that's going to tie into your AR, augmented reality, or VR, virtual reality. You got Big Time Action RPG, where in-game items are NFTs. Immutable X is a very popular one. But this Ultra, I'm not as familiar with. Blockchain-based gaming platform market. So this is just more of a market, I guess. Very interesting. We'll come back to that in a minute. But first, let's go over here and actually search GameFi and see what the biggest ones are by market cap. I knew they'd have the category. I didn't look it up ahead of time, but I was pretty sure it was going to be there. All right, so right off the bat, you have Immutable X at $1.2 billion in market cap. And let's just go down to the categories and see what it says. So smart contract, NFTs, play to earn, layer 2. So it's on Ethereum, so it's a layer 2 of Ethereum. Zero knowledge rollups. Just trying to grab what's most relevant. Gaming blockchain. All right. So let's go check out their website, because one thing I want to know about Immutable X is what games do they have? And yes, I have a couple games pulled up. We'll play some games, but we don't want to just sit here and just play like, a gala game the whole time, because that's not really raising our crypto IQ as much as it is, somewhat entertaining. So the universal gaming token, but do they actually have any games? So it says gaming is inevitable, which I completely agree with. It's a massive global economy where billions of players. IMX is the easiest way to get involved, it says. These websites say stuff like that. I don't know if that's true, but it might be. Trading rewards extended. They're extending some of their rewards and programs, and liquidity rewards, of course. Just like everything in crypto, they really need you to lend them liquidity. Everybody needs liquidity. Every website you go to talks about liquidity. I would put that kind of in the back of your mind, because it doesn't really matter what niche you're in crypto. They all need liquidity. But what I really wanted to come to, and we recently went over this website probably last Friday, but I really wanted to see if they have any actual games, because what's kind of wild is a lot of these so-called GameFi, play to earn, all of these different things don't actually have any games at all. So if anybody knows, even anybody watching this later, of any games that Immutable X actually built, let me know. As of right now, I can't find any, so we're going to go ahead and skip back to our next project here. So this is Form. It has $1 billion in its market cap. This one I'm really interested to look at, because it has been trending, lately. It's pretty relevant, but it also was down a bunch. So March 19, 2025. So this thing came out of nowhere. It already, let's see. It ran up to like $4, and then it had this huge correction. It's kind of wild. Let's see how quick that correction happened. Happened over a matter of September 8th to now. So over a few days. It wasn't like a big dump in a couple of hours, but still. Why did it pull back like, almost 50% here? Well, I guess it's not quite 50%. Anyways, $1 billion in its market cap. Very low max supply, 580 million in its max supply, 381.8 million in its circulating supply. It's on the Binance Smart Chain. I do love to see that. They don't have the website linked, but they have a link tree. Okay. So let's check that out. Play AI Hero now. Is that their game that they have? Obviously, there must be a game behind this, because why would it have gotten so big so quickly? Oh, look, I've been blocked. That's awesome. Doesn't look like they're very friendly to American IPs. Just blocked from everything. Okay, I'd love to throw on my VPN right now and go check it out, but unfortunately it'll mess up a bunch of other things, and we don't want to do that in the middle of streaming here. So GameFi, I will check this out on my own time and throw it in the Discord. Speaking of Discord, the link is in the descriptions. Hop on in there. There's a couple of people trickling all in. Every day we get in a couple of people. It will build. It is early. We are building it, so it's not a ton of conversation from everybody else, but I'm posting stuff in there. Right now I was kind of doing a little bit of a deep dive research on DAG. I'm probably going to make it into, and that's DAG Constellation. I'm probably going to make it into a video. Very interesting. They have defense contracts, stuff like that. They have some weird, real, what's the best way to put it? They have a door counter, basically, that you can put in a doorway, and it counts people. It's probably more for storefronts and stuff like that. And then you actually earn the token from doing that. Don't really understand what the point of it is, but they do have that. That's why we're deep diving it, because it just seemed really interesting. Because if they have money flowing, and we're taking a minute to talk about this DAG Constellation deep dive in the Discord, because if they have money flowing in from contracts, defense contracts, then there's money flowing in. Hopefully some of it makes it into the market cap. That's really what we want to find out about. So, of course, Floki. Most people know Floki. I own some Floki somewhere. Is it up? Is it down? I have absolutely no idea. It's one of these ones from last bull run that's still holding on and being relevant. Still $1 billion in its market cap. Again, I have no idea when I bought it. Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, contract. Go check out their website, because they're coming out as GameFi, right? But, like, do they have a game? It's one thing that kind of drives me a little bit nuts, is all these things considered GameFi and they don't have any games. All right, Floki's Play to Earn Metaverse. They did not have this the last time that I looked at it. It was probably, I don't know, was probably like 6 months ago. the ultimate play-to-earn experience. Or maybe they did have this. Actually, it does seem pretty familiar. So experience the open world of Valhalla. Explore and discover, engage in battles, create clans, complete quests, interact with other players in real time. On mainnet, players will be able to earn Floki. So there is some earning capabilities here. It does look like, man, what is the game that this reminds me of? It's an old game. But anyways, you have your MMORPGs, and there are many different variations of those letters that mean a whole bunch of different things. But it's basically a free roam, open world type of game. It's pretty cool. And then what else do we have here? So this is a turn-based combat. And a lot of the games in crypto right now are very simple. But you're seeing a push with like Illuvium and some other games to really bring in some AAA gaming experience. Unfortunately, a lot of times when I play trailers, it wants to lag on me. Don't know what that's about. It doesn't lag on my computer, but it lags as it comes through, YouTube. Right now I'm just trying to watch on my computer to see if it's lagging. Just these simple videos. Doesn't look like it is. So a turn-based game, those can be fun. Let's see, can you earn? I'd hope you'd be able to earn. So a turn-based combat game that tests your tactical skills, use your Varus magical abilities and strategic thinking to outwit opponents. Plan each move carefully. Yeah, it's almost like a turn-by-turn or a card game or like a chess game kind of mentality there. And what's this last one here? Come on. Capture your Varus, start your journey. So Varus are unique, upgradable NFTs in Valhalla. Capture or purchase them. Turn-based combat. Level up. Enhance its rarity. It's pretty cool. What happens if I click play now? I'm sure it doesn't let me do it here. You probably have to download something. Reliable J says, me too, Medieval Empires. Man, I played so many games like that. I mean, you have Age of Empires, Medieval Empires, Stronghold. And they have all of those games have a whole series of games. Now, if they could take some of that, like Age of Empires, and make it play to earn, oh, they'd have me there. I'd be earning some money on that. So this looks like it's going to take a minute, so we won't spend forever on it. We'll bounce back to this in just a minute. So Floki doing big things, right? Floki was, in the last bull run, Floki was nothing more than really a meme coin that had just came out, riding on the coattails of like Dogecoin narrative and stuff. And a lot of people really clowned it. And they did stuff. I mean, Shiba Inu, the same thing. I don't think that Shiba Inu is games, but they built a bunch of things to make themselves relevant. It seems like now if you're going to be a meme coin, you need to build something. You can't just be a meme coin with a picture and expect people to care. Also, Floki has a trading bot. Pretty sure Shiba Inu also has one as well. TokenFi, which is a project that I bought into a long time ago and has done absolutely terribly for my portfolio, but maybe one day it'll get a bunch of attention. I don't think we're at the GameFi part of DeFi, hype yet. I think that's at least a month away if we even get it, right? So they have staking, Floki Hub, your Web3 identity built on, okay, so this is like domains. So there's a lot of versions of this. The Ethereum one is the most popular one, right? I'm trying to think of what it's called. I don't know why it's not coming to me. But anyway, somewhere where you can go register a something.floki or something.eth or whatever, and then you own that domain, just like you would do for a regular website through some kind of service. So then you have FlokiFi, which is the future of decentralized finance. So many of those. I think you're going to see a lot of these finance things consolidate and a lot of them lose. You're going to have big winners in that space and a lot of losers in that space. So Floki NFT collections, they have a debit card. I don't know why you would need a Floki debit card, but whatever, they got one for you. I guess I'd rather see them build that kind of stuff than not build it. Floki, places, merchandise and NFT, marketplace. So I'm actually really impressed with how much stuff Floki has built. Now, we didn't click on the stuff. We don't really know how well any of this stuff functions, but I am very surprised at how much they have built. So University of Floki, right? We talk about raising your crypto IQ. It seems like Floki understands why that might be important. So they have a whole education platform. I don't know if it's for what is it to educate you about Floki or crypto or what is it? I don't know. So create a decentralized .floki domain, a name service. I mean, that's basically the same thing that they had already showed us. And then from there, you can go to communities and updates. We could probably spend a lot of time on this. Let's see if the other thing ever loaded up. All right, so is this actually in web browser that you play? So that's kind of wild. I do have a gaming computer, so this thing shouldn't be too terrible, too slow. But it doesn't really look like it's doing much. Start your journey. Who knows, if you can own some Floki, it might not be so bad. Now, they say things like earn some Floki. I don't really tell you what that means. You know, you could be earning half a penny a week, and you'll never see any actual money from it. So welcome to the vibrant world of Floki Island. Explore a land filled with extraordinary creatures like Vera. Forge alliances with rivalries with fellow Vikings and discover endless adventure. So already have a play account somewhere else. I'm new. So they actually want you to like make a wallet and everything. Very interesting. Very interesting. Maybe we'll have this one. Maybe I'll make sure I have this all set up for next Friday. But we have plenty of other things to look at. So Gala. Gala, of course, is one of the big players in the game space. I don't know that the actual token Gala has done anything phenomenal. I know at one point they moved from like regular Gala to like a V1 Gala. I don't know why they did that, but they did. $826.9 million in its market cap. Let's look at that max chart. So September 25th or September 15th, 2020. What's really important here is 2020 when we go that far back. And you can see that Gala Games, I mean, this is where people who talk highly of Gala Games, like this is where it comes from. This huge blow off top that it did at one point. I mean, it never wants to give me the exact top here on the market. It's really frustrating. I don't know why they do this to me. All right, I got it. 71 cents in 2021. And I mean, 71 cents right now, it's at, 1 cent, high 1 cent, almost 2 cents. So you can imagine if it could ever get back to that. And what market cap did it have at that point? I really would love to know. At least close. This is one thing that CoinGecko really needs to fix is the ability to pull those highs. And I'm probably missing it somewhere. It probably tells me all-time high, but I never have found that. So right here it says $4.9 billion. And it even went a little higher than that. So that's a huge market cap. And they came way down and they've done nothing at least comparable to that since. But Gala Games is still moving. They're still hot as far as putting out games and being relevant in gaming. We have one game actually up for them right now. I'll go ahead and pull it up since it's relevant. It's kind of like an idle game. It's probably one of their most well-known one. I think it's called Townstar is what it's called. Here, it'll tell us in a minute. I don't have to guess. Powered by Gala Chains. And Gala has plenty of other games, but this is just one example of some play to earn gaming. So when it comes up, you kind of have like your main town, but then they have all these competitions and different things where there's like preset scenarios. They have time limits. You can hop in there. You can go to play events. And they have all of these different events. You can see, they open up when they're ready. And so you can practice, which is basically what your normal town is. And then this one is like sell daily specific goods. So they're going to give you very specific goods. It ends in 23 hours. However you perform, you will get something for performing. I don't know if they give you, Gala points or if they give you actual, Gala tokens. I'm not sure. But either way, this is kind of where you actually would earn something, I believe. I don't think you really earn anything from the regular town mode. It's kind of more just so you can learn to play the game. All right, Reliable J says Gunzilla has off the grid and gun token on Solana. Yes, that is one that I have been looking into. Was really impressed and also kind of disappointed in the game. Guns itself touts that you're going to be able to use, NFTs and sell open on a marketplace. I haven't got there yet. I opened the game and tried to play it. And again, mind you, I have a gaming computer that's pretty good. I play games all the time, or at least I used to before I worked 24/7 on my YouTube channel and other things, my other business. But it couldn't run it, man. That thing is high graphics and stuff. And I have the graphics all the way turned down on Gunzilla. It was disappointing how I couldn't really play the game. When I feel like I should be able to. I feel like my computer should be up to par. It's not old. But anyways, hopefully they're going to have it for, do you know, Reliable J, do they have Gunzilla on like PlayStation 5? I don't have one yet, but I was thinking about getting one at some point. And if I could earn some, some crypto on it, that would probably make it an easier buy for me personally. But anyways, this is my towns. You don't really do a lot. Like I said, it's kind of an idle game. You can click on stuff. Like I'm growing some trees over here at the tree farm. A little countdown, and then a couple of, stacks of wood will be ready. Mostly growing sugar cane and just windmilling it into sugar. And then you click this little truck over here, and you click sell. And then it tells you what you have in your stockpiles, what you get for it. You send it to town. Takes like 30 seconds. And it is like an idle game in that manner that, like, you're not going to play this and beat a round of it or something like that in a matter of a couple of hours. This thing is just always kind of going. It is a little annoying, though, because, like, you can see you don't actually get paid from the truck coming back until this little countdown goes down. And I'll click off of it, and when we come back, it'll be in the same place. So it's almost like you have to have it open. You have to have it up. It's a little annoying in that way, but I guess they keep you from, I don't know, farming it somehow. I don't really think you can earn much in the regular play mode. So then when you go to Gala Games, though, we'll talk about like other games that they have. It says Steam has it handled, I think. You mean like they pretty much own the rights to it and everything? They're not going to let it go to any other platforms? Is that what you mean, Reliable J? And yeah, I actually downloaded it on Steam. Is actually where I downloaded it from. So they have this Vexy Village. Now, this is more of a mobile game that you would actually get on your phone. I did download it on my phone. I played it for like 15 minutes, and then I never went back to it. So I'll have to check that out. Gala Music. There's not a lot of extra time in my day. That's for sure. Gala Music, the evolution of music. So they want to be into music as well. Gala Film. So, Gala in my mind very much connected to gaming, but Gala is connected to a lot of other things. And if they start cranking out films and stuff like that are any good, that could be a big leg up for brand recognition and people caring about owning, their token. What we all care about, price go up. So bias-free, censorship-resistant AI owned by the people. This Osmi. I definitely know what Osmi is. Or at least there's a couple versions of it. I wonder if it's the same thing. Let's hit try free and see where it takes us. This is the beauty of deep diving and research. We might learn a thing or two. Live on stream. This is a chat. So this is, okay. So I don't think this is what I thought it was. But this is like their own little AI. Now, from what I understand, not me, but somebody who's a little bit more code savvy, this type of thing is not that hard to build. You could really build your own, but also at the same time, you could grab ChatGPT, reformat it, put a surface to it, and then ChatGPT basically be running it, be doing the same thing. Now, is that what they did? I don't know, but I have seen a lot of these things popping up all over the place. Like everybody has their own AI, but in order to really have your own AI, you have to train it with large language models and stuff like that. And I don't think a lot of these places, for example, XRPH is a project. It's like healthcare. It's on the XRPL ledger. It's a little side salad here. But when you go to their website, they have like an AI agent that's tailored for like healthcare. You know what I mean? It's a great idea, I guess, if it works well. I don't know how the lawsuits would go with that. But anyways, I don't know that I believe that XRPH has the tech ability within their company to large language model train specifically for healthcare an AI agent. They most likely grabbed ChatGPT, reformatted it, for the surface, what you see, but really it's just ChatGPT. All right, enough of that rant. So you have Gala Chain. So Gala connects live on chain. So they kind of have their own chain. Let's see if do they say that over here? Let's go to their, okay, layer 1. So Gala is its own layer 1. That I think gives it the ability to run a lot more than other things. You know, as we go forward, they have the ability to really be their own thing and stand alone. Could really help you, could really hurt you. That's kind of yet to be seen. I do love that they have the Made in USA tag there. If we ever get, you know, some regulation that says Made in US games, or games, cryptos in general, Made in the USA, get a lower tax or no tax. There's been all these different things thrown around, you know. Who knows if we'll see that? It hasn't happened yet. So far, all we've got is the Genius Act as far as actual legislation, and it's all about stable coins. So let's be done with Gala for a minute here. And let's hop back over to our list of GameFi projects. The Sandbox. The Sandbox definitely worth talking about. And you guys let me know, would you rather see me just play some crypto games, some blockchain gaming, or do you want me to actually go through all these projects? Because I am going to be doing GameFi every Friday, and we're not going to go through, you know, the same list of projects as far as their websites and stuff go every time. We'll continue the deep dive. This is a good one because we're doing it every Friday, so it'll keep evolving, you know, and kind of if you haven't been here for them, it'll still be relevant and you'll still learn, but you might not fully understand what we're doing because we'll get deep in the sauce. So $767.4 million in its market cap. And Sand was poised to be a really big deal. And its chart looks exactly like Gala's. You can see 2021, it was really the heyday of a lot of this GameFi, play to earn, you know, DeFi summer of game, you know, that kind of thing. So Ethereum contract, Harmony Shard. That's very interesting. Energy. So two blockchains that I've heard of, but I've never really used. And then, of course, Polygon, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum, which brings down transaction fees more than anything. And the tags that Sandbox have, of course, Metaverse, Play to Earn, NFT, and Amico brands, portfolio. Simulation games. That's an interesting tag that they have on there. And let's go to their website. Sandbox is another one like Decentraland that I'm not really sure what the heck they're doing now. You know, they had a lot of hype. They had a lot of things they said they were doing back in the day when things were hot. And then who knows? It's kind of gone quiet. GameFi is not getting a ton of attention. Let's be honest, nothing for the longest time. It feels like we might finally be getting an altcoin season that we've been waiting for forever. But man, they really have held altcoins to the ground for a really long time. And of course, all your GameFi stuff is way down the list. You know, they're not XRP, they're not, Solana, they're not any of the smaller, the larger altcoins. They're the small of the small altcoins. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and prove my point here. Sandbox, a number 147, and it's higher than most. And that's by market cap. So the Sandbox, play together, create anything, own virtual land. Let's build a whole new world together, it says. Enter the metaverse. All right, so how would you like to sign up? It's one of those things I'd love to do, but I have no idea how long that's going to actually take. And then they have all of these different games, I believe, in the metaverse. Discover more. So let's check out what kind of games, because this is GameFi. We want to know what kind of games they have. Fortunately, a lot of times games are really simple. Kind of giving me more like build your own game and throw it up here and see if people like it, which is a cool concept. You see it for a lot of things, from anything from Roblox all the way to Fortnite, where a lot of, fan-made or self-made games, and then people play them and the best of the best rise to the top and the rest pretty much get forgotten about. There's all kinds of games here, though. Certainly don't have the time right now because I don't have a actual account set up with them to go into all of these. But at least there's plenty of stuff to look at as we go forward. The weekly game stream here, 10K Sand. A lot of these give me a lot of Roblox vibes, which is just very simple, very underdeveloped, very quickly thrown together. They have some kind of theme to them, but they're not like a AAA game that's been well thought out and had a bunch of developers on it. So I don't know if that's what Sandbox is altogether. This is something I'm going to have to dig into a little bit more. There's not enough hours in the day, everybody. I'm sure all of you feel the same. If you don't, then you're not grinding hard enough. You should feel like there is not enough hours in every day. That's my opinion. It's not advice. All right, so here, let's hop over to another thing that I really wanted to show you. So we touched on this last Friday, or maybe it was the Friday before that, but this is Mobox. Now, Mobox is one of those ones where I've been in for several years. I think that it has high potential to do well. There's just not been a lot of attention around it, just the whole industry as a whole. So that kind of sucks. It's bringing up my MetaMask. You probably can't see that. Wants to move me over to Binance Smart Chain. All right. So first of all, the main thing here with Mobox is the staking, what they call the farmer. So Momo Farm, basically you can have a liquid pool here. You can stake Binance or BNB, which is Binance, and Mobox token, 50-50. And then you can put it in here and you can earn Mobox. And so let's see what the APY is right now, like 2.6%. API was super high when I first started doing it. It's slowly come down. That's usually how pools work. Liquidity pools usually have a great, APY when you get into them, and then 6 months later it's dismal. Happens all the time. So yeah, they have these boxes. In these boxes are NFTs, right? So when I first started playing this, they actually had keys as like a separate currency, and you had to buy the keys to open the box. Made a lot of sense, but they got rid of it. And then, so you open those, and then down here, and this is not my main account. My main account is on another computer, and I don't have an easy way to set it up on here. So maybe one day, if people like this kind of content, I'll show that. But for now, it's not really worth. And then you have this little mining camp where all your NFTs automatically go, and your NFTs have a hash rate or a mining rate on them, and they also mine you the Mobox token. So Keaton Bailey says, yeah, I'd like to see you play some of these games. We're definitely moving towards that. I definitely have a couple to play, but we're also just trying to make sure that I'm educating people as well. But if you come back every Friday, you will see me play a lot more of them, because I can't just show everybody the same projects every Friday. That would get really boring. So for the people, it's kind of going to be 50-50. Half of the stream will be me talking about some of these projects and what we've learned since the last one, and then the rest of it will probably just be me playing different games. So real quick, let me explain this one. And there are actually some games in this that I'm going to show you guys. So you go to the mystery boxes, you buy them, you open them. Then let's go to the market so you can actually see the Momos. Okay, so these are the NFTs that are actually in it. And you can come over here to the categories, and you could separate them. Let's go to rares, right? And then you see these little pickaxe in the corner, has different numbers. Those are the actual hash rates of the NFTs themselves, right? And right now, let's see what the miner's doing. So it says, usually it tells you how much you need to mine so many, but because I'm not actually on my main account, it doesn't look like it says it. So normally it would tell you with your hash power how much you're mining every day. Anyways, you get the point. Each NFT has some, hash rate. Some of them, look at this one's 920, and you could get that one for $7.80. And this one's like almost 10,000, and that would cost you $35. Now, when I first started dealing with this, these things were way more expensive. They've slowly come down over time as, of course, we went through a bear market. And that kind of brings me to my next point. I'm mostly impressed with this project because almost all of the games over on Binance Smart Chain all folded during the bear market, and they stayed relevant. They have a mobile app as well where you can play all of their games. The reason why I'm talking about these, NFTs is because they become relevant to all the other games, because these are the characters you use in the other games. So you get these, they mine you the token. So that's cool. Right there, you're earning. You can put stuff in the liquidity pool. Right there, you're earning. Now let's talk about their actual games. So one thing I want to talk about before we go to their metaverse, or their version of a metaverse, is this Dragonverse Neo, which is one of their most, probably their newest thing that they've come out with, which is like a whole MMORPG. It's pretty fun. It's kind of cool. They do it in seasons. So it's like when a season starts and ends, it resets, and you kind of have to start over. There's all kinds of like little mini games in it. It's definitely still being built out. But anybody who's familiar with something like, World of Warcraft, RuneScape, all the ones most people would probably know, that is kind of along the lines of what they're doing, but much more modern and a little bit more, up to date. And, people feel how they feel about that. So let's go back. So I want to show you the other games that maybe I could show you. That one's like a whole download game, which I do have downloaded and I'll try to bring up. So let's talk about Momoverse. This is like their take on a metaverse. I don't think it's not the virtual reality metaverse that I feel like most people would want to see, but that's okay. But you can actually earn in this. Now, you do have to have an avatar in order to earn, and an avatar is an NFT. Fortunately for me, when they came out, they were relatively cheap. I was early in it, and so I bought a bunch of them, but I don't have one on this account, which kind of sucks. So when you go to events, go to daily tasks, and it tells you right here, can't do daily tasks without an avatar. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And there's not a lot of them available. If you go to OpenSea and stuff, there's a handful. So you have boxing, and I'll explain what that is. Participate in survival one time, treasure hunt. And then you have all of these different items, wood, fish, berries, all around the town. So when you collect 10, say, mushrooms or bamboo shoots, they're going to give you a map. When you get that map, it's going to give you a location on the map. You know, it's like a treasure hunt, and you're going to go hunt for whatever this treasure is. And as you go around, the items should show up. We should find like wood and carrots and all kinds of stuff. Now, it's like not every hour. It's like every 2 hours or something like that. The actual Momos come out. And it's kind of like a take on, say, Pokemon, right? You have these Moballs. It's like Pokeballs. And then you have the Mobox, which are the actual NFTs, you know. And then you can catch them, and they will go to your mining farm, and they will mine you the actual currency of this game. Now, the currency of this game, I don't know what it's at right now because I already closed my trading view and I don't have the chart up. I do look at it because I own a ton of them. But last time I looked, I think they're like, I don't know, 6-7 cents. They've been as high as $15-$16 per token. Oh, look, there is a Momo. It's actually out. That's pretty cool. We got lucky because they're not always out. So this is the resident of Molantis, is what they call their metaverse. Have recently discovered some mysterious visitors on the continent. A group of roam Momos. These Momos roam around, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. Every 2 hours they show up. So they're not in here 24/7. So then you have this thing over here, which is just like a scale that goes back and forth. I mean, you should be familiar in some games with that. Yes, I am kind of skipping all of this because I could explain this in 3 seconds. The way they do it is kind of boring. So if you actually had a mobile, you'd be trying to hit this small little space right here. You'd be timing it right, and that, I guess, just gives you a better chance of catching it. So you can actually catch the Momo and get it. But if you miss and you don't quite catch it, they give you puzzle pieces. When you get a certain amount of puzzle pieces, then you can actually trade those in for one of the Momos, right? And this one's gray. So they have different classes like I showed in the marketplace. Sometimes they're rare, sometimes they're common, uncommon. Of course, their hash rate is going to reflect that, how much you're actually earning. We'll go over here, we'll pick up some wood, stuff like that. Unfortunately, without an avatar, I need to get on my other computer and send an avatar over to here because we'll probably mess with this pretty much daily, and we'll see, what we can actually earn playing this game. So you go around, you pick up all these different things, you get the fish, you get the shells, till you have 10 of each. Then you get a bunch of treasure maps. You do the treasure map puzzles, you get the boxes, and a lot of times you'll get Mobox, the actual Mobox balls in there, so that you can go catch the actual Moboxes, and then go to your miner and you can earn some tokens. So that's one part of it. And let's see, can we click on the map? So here it brings up the entire map, and when you run around it, it doesn't feel that big, but it's also not that small, right? And they have all of these different epic camps, bird camp, where different beasts are, and there is a whole nother level to that as well. But let's go over to Momo Home, which is the kind of other part of this project, this game. And if you go to my channel and you go way back, you can see a video where I bought $250 worth of the Mobox boxes and did an unboxing with them. But my channel was brand new. I don't know what I expected. Nobody cared about that because nobody knew I existed or what this project is. And again, they do have a mobile app. So this is when you first come in here. You kind of get like a home base, and you kind of have to plant things and grow things and sell them to this ship over here. It's probably a lot to unpack here in just a moment. So then they have this orchard thing that's going on where you have to grow all these different fruits. And then you kind of submit them, and then this thing will be going. The trade will be ended in like 3 hours, and then you'll get Mobox, the actual token, plus some other things for your like little city, your little village. And I wish you could see the one that I actually already have, but this one is pretty dismal because we just created it, so there's not a lot going on. And then you can kind of go, oh, I got to build a lighthouse. So you can actually click this little magnifying glass down here, and you can like go raid other people's, farms. It's the easiest way to actually get all the fruit, and then put them to the trade ship. And then when that ends, usually it goes on like every 2 days, and then it'll actually pay you out some Mobox. And there's a couple other features as far as buildings that you have that'll pay you very small amounts of Mobox as well. This is kind of like your name up here. They just give you a random number. You can change it to something else if you'd like. And this is Mo Atlantis. And then, of course, you can go visit all kinds of other peoples. You can water their orchards and farm. You can have friends. You can have enemies. It's kind of an interesting thing to add into it. I don't think it was there originally when they first launched Momoverse, their metaverse. And there's not a whole lot else to unpack here. I wish I could catch some Mobox in front of you and then put them in our NFTs and stuff. That would be pretty awesome. Maybe what I'll do is I'll actually do a pre-record of this and put it in the Discord from my other computer. Because my other computer is a little older and I don't stream from it, and it's a little slow, so I'd hate to have you guys streaming from that. It'd probably be lagging like crazy. And you can see other people in here. You can kind of see what other avatars look like. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. It's interesting because there's plenty of stuff to do, but it also feels a little basic at the same time, right? And you can craft all kinds of different items. It's more difficult than it should be, honestly, because you have to, like, be able to, you have to basically get these items, which basically cost money as far as I understand. Of course, you can buy in the marketplace Mobox as well. Let's see if they have the actual Mobox. Can I show you those? These are all the different items that you would use for crafting. Okay, so here's the Mobox. So here are the actual, you open these, you get NFTs. And then you have the Mo Balls, which you have regular or super balls, and they cost you, looks like 0.33 Mobox right now, which is not bad because Mobox is like 6-7 cents. I probably should snatch up a bag of Mobox right now and go to town on these on my other account. But I've put a decent amount of money over the time into this project, so I'm really hoping that I at least can get something decent out of it. Maybe it'll be till next bull run. I don't know. The biggest problem with these kind of games is that they're gonna fold. I can't express how much I'm surprised this project, because so many of the other ones folded over the bear market. This one didn't. And so I'm really happy to see that. We'll run around the map for like another second here, and then we will move on to something else, because they do have other games. What has impressed me most about Mobox as like a franchise or a project here is they have a lot of games. They don't have one game or two games, and you can earn in all of them. I've earned money from probably every single game that they have, except for maybe Dragonverse, because Dragonverse is one of their newest ones. So the map's pretty cool. I wish you could zoom out a little bit more. Oh, I guess they do now let you zoom out. So the graphics and things are pretty cool, but it's still very two-dimensional, right? It's not very three-dimensional. I can't zoom in and change the angles of anything. That would be something they could upgrade. Now let's go check out something else. So let's go look at Block Brawlers. And we'll get rid of that game there. Block Brawlers is another game that they have. So Reliable J says, surprise Blizzard didn't make a new WoW for crypto. Man, I have said for so long. You hit that right on the mark, man. I've said for so long that they should do that. I think eventually they're going to have to, because I don't really know. I have a bunch of buddies who used to play back in the day. Very few of them still play, but a couple of them do. And they've said it's really just kind of gone to trash. There's not a lot of interest. It's not as fun as it used to be. They've updated the heck out of WoW and made it not very cool anymore. And so, unless you've been there for forever and you already have a very high level account, it's not very fun. And they let the low levels come in. You start an account and they'll boost you all the way up into the high levels, but they don't know how to play the game. And so that mostly pisses off all of the old people who've been playing forever. Anyways, let's see if I can zoom in on this game a little bit. No? Doesn't let me zoom in. Okay. So this is Block Brawlers. It's basically like a fighting game where you go through levels. But just on that topic, Reliable J, I remember being a kid playing WoW, thinking, I wish I could sell this loot, these legendary items, whatever you got from your dungeons, to other players and stuff would be really cool, so I can make a living and play the game. Of course, I was like, 12, but I remember having that thought. And then so GameFi play to earn gaming narrative really kind of brings that into maybe a real thing. I would like to see, like I said, I had the really good run that one DeFi summer where I was making really good money off of games. Of course, I was very new to crypto back then, hadn't been but a year or so into crypto, and so I thought this was going to be the future, and I was going to be doing this forever, and then all the games crashed and went away. Sad story. So let's see, we can go to our hero. He has all kinds of slots for different items. You can upgrade all of them. There's a bunch of skills. I almost don't want to take the time to do this right this second because it takes a minute to know what all these skills are. We'll just pick a bunch of skills. We'll probably do terrible, but that's okay. And then you have to learn them. You have so many points that you can pick to do this with. See, I don't recognize any of these anymore. And then you would go into, there's like a little miner going on that gives you money and all the things you need to upgrade. You can upgrade your character in a ton of different ways. Then you go to like a match. Well, this is match with other players. I don't want to do that. We'll get wiped if we do that. But then this is kind of the main game here. Yeah, Reliable says he was playing. I was 29 playing. I don't know why I kept reading that backwards. Yeah, right. A little bit of an age difference, just a little bit. So we can go ahead and attack this giant gorilla here, although they are saying that our skills are not up to par. Okay, I guess we picked them, but we didn't actually put them into our character. And again, this is all on mobile, so you don't have to sit in front of your computer. You could take this with you. You're sitting in a waiting room of some sort. You're sitting somewhere waiting for something. You could play these little games. This is not my favorite one that I've earned the most money on, but I mean, I've earned a little bit of money on it. And it's in seasons as well. So it's like every season they kick out the rewards. It completely restarts over. Well, we are knocking everything over. It completely starts over, and then you can kind of have the chance to do it better, right? Like now you know what some of the moves are. Now you know what to expect, and maybe you can do it a little bit better. So this is considered like the dungeon. Now they're actually going to let us in. Of course, it's like, NPCs. It's bots or whatever. They're pre-programmed. And we can make it go faster. Definitely want to make it go faster. We should be able to beat level 1. I would hope we could beat level 1. But it does get difficult pretty quick, and there's like no end to it that I've ever found. It just keeps going level to level to level, and then you kind of have big bosses that you have to beat. All right, so then here it gave us some things, and then we can use those back in the skills to upgrade. And this is kind of how you get to being able to beat other levels. I just picked, this is the first time I ever randomly just picked stuff and didn't look at it. So I'm going to laugh if like this actually does really well. And then if we go to our hero, there's other things we can do. We can upgrade the actual hero for all of the money we have there. And then you pick up items, of course, just like you would in any other game. Swords, shields, all kinds of different stuff. And now we've run out of gold here for upgrading our hero, but you can see our attack has gone up a bunch. And then you have melting and forging and refining, intensifying, recast, talents. I mean, they really put a lot of effort into it for a blockchain gaming. When this came out, this was actually pretty detailed. A lot of times they're overly simplified, right? So we'll go challenge another person. And, of course, we could sit on this thing for all of eternity. We can make this a 17-hour live stream here, just me playing games, which I wouldn't mind. My wife might mind that. And it just keeps going. So let's talk about a different game. I think you get the point of this one. Now, this is Token Masters. without having a bunch of momos, I don't know how good this is going to be to show you. So I'll do my best to explain it. This is actually where I've won the most Mobox. I've won $200, $300, $400 in a season on Token Masters, and you see the games and you're like, it's all right. I mean, they're kind of kiddie. They're kind of, not the most impressive thing. There's probably mobile games that you've played on your phone that are well more put together, AAA gaming status. But have you ever won $200, $300, $400 on them? Probably not. And that is the difference. We need GameFi to really catch up, right, with, the complexity of games. But when you start earning some money on these things, you actually you start paying a little more attention. You're like, all right, let me take this a little more seriously. So this is, again, like seasons, and we can go to our leaderboard here. And so for the longest time, it was just Mobox, but then they added in all a different type of currency that's in the game. And so now you earn that as well. And you have two different types of winning. You can win... what's this one? For the most gold rank, right? And then you can earn like the highest amount of wins. Because when you come here, you'll go to plunder. You'll hit search. And it will come up with somebody else's, character, somebody else's profile. And you will attack them. And we will pick our... these are like the basic ones. Because we don't really have any momos on this account. So this is just like the ones they give you so you can play the game. And they're going to probably wipe the floor with us. We don't even have any skills. And you kind of have to play one round first before you can get any skills. And there's a whole strategy behind it. It's actually more of a strategic game than anything. Even though maybe it looks a little simple, it's got a lot of strategy to the timing of when you upgrade, how you upgrade, that kind of stuff. And you can make, your team much more powerful. But it's also like a luck draw. And I'm going to show you that in just a second here. And again, the game's not the most like amazing thing to watch, but when you make some money that's significant, $200, $300, $400 in a season lasts like a week. You start thinking, wow, if I can make $200, $300, $400 a week. But there's some people in here who are just ridiculously good at this game, and they will mop the floor with you. It's very hard to take home the top prizes without spending a crazy amount of money. But a good thing is a lot of it is much cheaper. So if you actually own some momos, you can click these paths, right? You have to have some rare ones. And then you basically gamble on 3 of these paths. And then when, every so often, I think it's like every couple of hours, it'll actually launch it. Right here, it'll launch the adventure in an hour. And then if you pick the right path, they give you something. It's kind of just an add-on to the game, right? They used to have this whole boxing thing on here. I wonder if they just made that a separate game. All right, so anyways, you come to your character, you click him, right? And so from doing the different rewards that they have, they call tasks, you get different books. Like you get books from doing it. And then, there's different, basically daily challenges. This resets every day. And that gives you the books. You use the books to upgrade your actual momos. There's Momo lending, of course. Now, this is in this game, but this is actually in the marketplace as well. You can buy these Momos. There's a lot of different ways to earn in this ecosystem, which is what I think is really cool, is that you could get a Momo. Right now they're super cheap. Go buy like a legendary. It still costs you a little bit of money. It still probably costs you like $500, $600, $700, if not $1,000. But then lend that thing out to people who are hardcore into this game, and it'll pay you, a certain amount of money. And you get to keep the Momo. You don't ever really give it to them. Obviously, it's all on chain, and you're lending it. You're renting it to them. So that's another way that you could earn. I probably should have been, renting out my Momos this whole time. I don't know why I wasn't. Too many things to keep track of, right? So anyways, down here you see the 2 swords. You only have so many times that you can battle a day. You get 20 a day. And how you use those is very interesting because one of the tasks is to battle, 30 times in a day. So the first day of your season, you want to only battle 10 times so that you have 10 more to roll over into the next season. You have to time it right. It's really annoying. But if you do it right, it really gives you a huge leg up against everybody else. And I wonder if we can go see. Let's go pull up Mobox over here and actually see what they are worth right now. So we can look at the prizes and see how much you're actually getting. Because I don't really know. It's been a long time since I tried to keep up with it. I don't actually know what they're giving you nowadays. So they're, worth about 6 cents. As you can see on the max chart, this thing has been around since April 12th, 2021. And what is the height of this thing? Will it give it to me? Just for a second. So the height of this thing, it says $12.74. I know it to actually have been a little bit higher than that. I think it was closer to $15 at one point. All right, let's go back to where we were. So if there's 6 cents, we got defeated, and that means we got pretty much nothing, except for maybe our task. Plunder, what is this, 5 times? There should be one that was plunder 2 times. Oh, you have to win 2 times. See, I'm used to winning because I actually have Mobox. So let's go over here. They give you, the number one's giving you 31 Mobox. They've really dimmed this down. They actually used to give way more. Can't be too mad at them because obviously if they're giving too much away, and they're not getting enough into the game, that could hurt them. So I don't want them to destroy the game, just for the sake of making sure I get my $200. But at the same time, it used to be much higher. I used to get like 400 or 500 Mobox, and also they were worth a lot more. So that's pretty much everything there is to explain about this. It is very much a strategic game, and then having your Mobox, the Mobox from the NFTs, will also make it so you have a higher chance of winning. There's also MoDragon, which I have no idea what's going on with MoDragons anymore. I think they tried to roll it into the new Dragonverse, but it still seems like a separate thing. So before it had just like the Momoverse, this was MoDragon, and you have dragons as your NFTs and stuff. It's a collaboration with Arbitrum blockchain. And you buy the eggs, they'd open just like the boxes, and then you'd get these dragons and stuff like that. And they had a whole metaverse. And then I don't really know where it went. Where did it go? Then all of a sudden Dragonverse came out, the name very similar, and then the metaverse was gone. I don't really know what happened there. So we won't focus on that. And then they have this other game, Chain Z Arena. You can see the format. These are all formatted to be mobile games, right? And it's like a card game. I don't know as much about this one, honestly, because I did not play this one as much. And they used to have another game too that was like a tower defense game. I don't know where that thing went. Let's go to their Twitter. I'm not going to break that game down because I don't know it very well. I don't know exactly what goes on in that game. Too many games. Let's see what their latest spin is, right? So Mobox has led an era in Web3 gaming. Yet continuously push beyond our past achievements. Today we are setting sights on a new frontier, decentralized science. Oh, okay, Mobox. That's super left field, right? Why are they going into decentralized science? Unless somehow it has something to do with gaming, right? So it says, we are applying our expertise in gamification to transform complex scientific research into interactive systems. I have no idea why they have any business doing that. Why are you doing that, Mobox? Go back to the basics. Go back to the cranking out the games and get that price per coin up. How about that? I don't know. Science has got a lot of money in it. Maybe that's part of the strategy. But this is really interesting. I had no idea they were doing this. Just like ArtFi that we talked about the other day, there are new narratives that reach up. Decentralized science, maybe not as new, but it's not prevalent. I mean, name me one significant decentralized science crypto project. Anybody. Throw one in the comment. I can think of one that's new, but you're not going to name me one that's been out for 5 years. So decentralized science should not feel like a chore. Forget complex forms, clunky portals. What if it was simple to send a message? At Mobox, we believe DeSci must be interactive and intuitive. For the past few weeks, we have been heads down building the most advanced DeSci? Is that what it say? Entry point in our ecosystem. I'm all for this as long as they can figure out how to run that money back into the market cap. Then I'm all for it. So season 22 has just ended. I actually pulled up the other, free roam MMORPG, but it's always down for a day or two whenever the season ends because they add a bunch of things and take stuff away. So I couldn't actually show you that this Friday because we're in between seasons. So that'll have to be one for next week. And how did we ever did on the Floki thing, right? Oh, we got to choose a password and make an account. I hate doing that type of stuff live because it might take forever. Not as worried about sensitive information, but it also just might take forever and everybody might run away. Not sure how many people we have on here right now, but shout out to anybody who's still here. You are MVP. raising that crypto IQ. And who knows, like if we find, a game that really is doing well, then, all y'all might get a little bit paid. It's happened before, and we're going into the season where it's most likely, which is that altcoin season. Definitely fingers crossed that, nothing like Bitcoin dumping drastically ruins our altcoin season. We don't have many months left in this bull run as far as the traditional 4-year cycle goes. Really don't want to see them destroy our altcoin season. It feels like they're not going to. It feels like we're going to get it, but who knows? There's super cycle narratives, all kinds of things like that. What's actually going to happen, I don't know. So we did Sandbox. Let's go to Decentraland. Bored Ape Yacht Club would be the next one. Reminds me of Pudgy Penguins. I was shocked to know that Pudgy Penguins has a much bigger market cap than Bored Ape Yacht Club. But at the same time, Pudgy Penguins has actual toys in store. My kid bought one at Target, and I didn't even realize it was a Pudgy Penguin until, 2 months later when he's trying to get online and scan the little barcode and get his little mini Pudgy or whatever, which kind of wasn't even an actual real NFT. I think that's a huge flop on their part, but you got a barrier to entry. Anyways, they had a much bigger market cap. We'll talk about that more in a second. $641.2 million in Decentraland's market cap. From my understanding, Decentraland is the loser of metaverse gaming, GameFi. That's always how it's been presented. I don't know if they've going to crawl out of the dirt from that one, but they just had promised that they were going to have their metaverse ready for a really long time, and it never showed up. I mean, do we have it now? That was 4 years ago. Do we have a metaverse now? Already have an account, download, create. So definitely going to write a couple of things down here so I can be a little more prepared for these live streams, especially the gaming ones. They're just going to get better and better as we kind of lock in. So let's go to Decentraland. Let's put that down or write it down. Then we had the Valhalla. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Valhalla. Some things with Mobox that I could get ready a little bit, especially the pre-record for the Discord for anybody who's interested. Then we have, what other things were we checking out? Some Gala games that we might want to put on the radar. I know of a bunch of other games too, but I'm just not sure how they're going to run with the stream, like Spider Tank and stuff like that. There's a really cool one that I wish I could find. I wish I knew the name of it, had my other computer on. It was really cool. It was like mining Ethereum. It was like a apocalyptic wasteland. You had cars. You had to drive all over the map. There were other players trying to shoot you and blow you up. And then there would be like little gas stations. And they were really far apart. And so you had to get to the gas station or multiple gas stations, mine Ethereum, which would give you like a small amount of Ethereum. You had to have a wallet hooked up in the game. And then if you made it back to your base, you actually got that Ethereum. Or you could just shoot down other players, and people would go to OpenSea's NFTs and buy really, advanced rigs and stuff. It was a lot of fun, but didn't ever make a lot of money because people who actually bought the NFTs just absolutely killed you and took all your money. So it looks like Decentraland actually has got something going here. I'm impressed. You don't hear a lot of rumblings about it though. One thing I would like to do is go to their Twitter. Twitter is a great place when it comes to a lot of these games to see if they're really still building, see if they're really still doing anything. What are they posting? How long ago was their pin post? Is there pin post from forever? Look at that. Decentraland followed by Reliable J and Martini Guy. And Reliable J is in our comments right now. So can virtual art make us feel more human? So they're talking about virtual art. Is this Decentraland? Looks a lot like another game that's in crypto. So join for free. What does it say? Jump in and explore December 24th to 27th. Why just those days? I don't really know. And when was that pin post there? September 3rd. Okay, so pretty relevant. 5 hours ago, they talked about exploring humanity's relationship with technology in a central theme to the work of whoever that person is. Okay, so it's like Art Week. Here's some gameplay. This is really why I came over here, is maybe we could see some actual footage of the game, and who knows how well it's going to come through on your part. Do have another computer over here running it so I can tell if we're lagging and stuff like that. All right. I mean, this video is really not showing me anything, but that's interesting. Level up. You got some loot. All right. So this one might be worth checking out, having ready for the next stream. You know, this is only what this is going to be coming up on the month of this channel, really live streaming and doing the live stream show. A lot of things to put together. It's just going to get better and better and better. And I hope you guys keep coming back and raising your crypto IQs. Again, it's Friday. We're doing gaming because gaming is fun and everybody's having fun on Friday. Viewership is usually down on a Friday night, right? Everybody's at the bar or at their friend's house. And so figured we'd have some fun too. We will play a lot more games for whoever said that earlier. So Reliable J says, so good game, or so good games. Are you talking about on Decentraland? Are the games good? Maybe you'll have to show us a little bit of a thing or two about it in the Discord if you got any of that running. Maybe you could screen share or screen record some of you playing or something. Show us what games are the best games, you know, and we will take it into consideration. So follow me. Here's Reliable J. Shout out to him. Go follow Reliable J. On X, follow me, Crypto Ron with the blue check mark. He's a mechanic. He's always showing all kinds of cool stuff that he has in his shop. Different people coming in. Believe he's a diesel mechanic. Don't quote me on that, Reliable J, but it seems that way. Yeah, he's always posting really cool stuff about all the different cars and things he's working on. So definitely go follow him. Want to support him as he comes to the channel and supports us. And give me a follow as well while you're there. Crypto Ron blue check mark underscore ground crypto, and that's at underscore ground crypto because underground crypto was taken. So the next one that we're gonna look at is ApeCoin. Yeah, Reliable J says in general crypto gaming will catch on. I absolutely believe that. I want to be well ahead of it, you know. I want to be positioned in a way that when that game comes out, and it probably won't let us because it'll probably be a game that's already out like Grand Theft Auto 6, and it'll bring everybody in and there will be kind of no way to get in early. But if any of these other games pop and get some recognition in that time period, you know, other people are going to be looking for, you know, other games that are a little bit, you know, less known where they can make some money, but the excitement will be there and these people will be pouring in like Mobox. I'm in it now. Unless it goes drastically up, I'm not going to be selling out of it. So with that being said, if something like Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, a bunch of attention comes into it, we have almost like a bull run for GameFi, which I could see in that right narrative, in that kind of narrative, I could see us having like basically a bull run for GameFi, even regardless of what Bitcoin's doing. I think it would be a little bit difficult, but it could happen. And I'm just going to hold on to what I already have going on here. And unless it tops out, like if this thing goes back to $15, I'll sell it. I'll make probably 100 grand off of it. So I won't even second guess that one. But if that doesn't happen, I'll just keep playing and keep holding on and hoping that we get the right narratives in the future. Maybe it's next bull run. So what else can we get into here? We got our Gala game up. This thing does not like it when you go off of it. Of course, it's like black screen right now. Usually loads pretty quick. Okay. But see, all that time that we went away, and the truck is still returning from town. What is taking this man so long in his truck? Hurry up. And then you buy little lots of land here. And buy another one. Like 250,000 makes me broke now. But we'll just keep selling that sugar cane, if you know what I mean, till we get that money back. And then what? I don't know. We'll grow more sugar cane. I don't know what the end goal of this game is. I have absolutely no idea. It's just kind of something a lot of times I leave open and I look at like once every 2 days and I'll sell a couple bags of sugar and buy a lot of land or something like that, you know, and that's that. So again, Mobox is a very interesting project. It has a mobile app. I think it's going to do well. That's the one that I'm probably most knowledgeable about. That's why I'm sharing it with you. ApeCoin. Number 187 by market cap with only 500 million in its market cap. You can see it had a huge run up when it first came out. So it is around March 16th, 2022. We had this huge run up to $23.63, and it's been downhill from there. Now, can't be too mad. We had a whole bear market and nothing was happening in crypto. So like you can't really blame ApeCoin. And that's where when we look at a lot of these max charts, they don't look great. If you're a trader, if somebody looks at a lot of charts, you probably think every single one of these charts that we look at looks terrible. That's just crypto in the bear market. There's nothing going on. Things drop 90, 95, 98, sometimes 99% in the bear market, but they are good times to scoop up good projects. Let's go to the website. So I've said this a couple of times that I've been on their website here. I was told they had a metaverse that worked. Anybody know anything about that, Reliable J? Maybe you have the sauce on this one. ApeCoin, where in the world is their metaverse? Because I have not found it yet. And the website needs help. It needs a lot of help. It's just this coin. It just spins there forever. That's not a very good landing page, in my opinion. So ApeCoin is for the Web3 community. Culture has found new expression in the Web3 through art, gaming, entertainment, and events. The possibilities for blockchain's impact on culture are so endless that they can't even possibly all be predicted yet. Ape is a token made to support what's next, controlled and built on by the community. It will serve as a decentralized protocol layer for community-led initiatives that drive culture forward into the metaverse. There we are, metaverse. But where is the metaverse? The metaverse got to be coming soon, right? So here are some Bored Ape. These are the ones, pictures of monkeys that cost millions of dollars. You know, if you've even been around people who know about crypto, that's a narrative. They'll say, what's up with those pictures of monkeys that were worth millions of dollars? That they're referring to Bored Ape Yacht Club. And the real sauce was if you owned a Bored Ape Yacht Club of a certain caliber, you know, of a certain price point, you could get into Telegram chats that were filled with Snoop Dogg and all kinds of other big people. And so people who had something going, some business, some projects, they would buy these as a way to get a direct connection to much wealthier people that could help them make business connections and stuff. That is pretty much what I have been told over and over again about Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. Of course, they made a ton of money, and I think they'll do some different things, right? Hopefully they build a metaverse, because I've heard so much talk of that for so long. I hope they finally do. People upset the NFT prices drop. Maybe they gave up. Yeah. I mean, it was a bubble, right? We talk about bubbles and bubbles popping, from housing to cars to everything. You know, it was a bubble. Everybody got in. There wasn't enough money for everybody forever. It wasn't going to go for like the attention, because it's almost like a Ponzi scheme in a way, although I don't want to call it that because it's not. But you kind of needed more people coming in. You needed that excitement. You needed people who wanted to buy, and that raises the price up and up. Well, when those people went away, enough people with money and stuff went in and bought. Bitcoin went into a bear market, started dropping. It wasn't going to keep going. And so it pulled back, and people felt like they lost a lot of money because they bought a $2 million, NFT at the top there because they're rich. They probably shouldn't be complaining because they probably could afford it. And then it dropped to only being worth like $100,000 or something like that. I don't actually know what the prices dropped to, but they felt some type of way about it, and they were posting all over social media. Is what it is. They bought the top of the market. To me, it's no different than somebody who bought a meme coin at the top of the market. You know, you bought $500,000 worth of a meme coin at the very top of the market with no idea about the crypto 4-year cycle or any of that Bitcoin 4-year cycle, and you got washed. I mean, that's the best education in crypto you'll ever get. So ApeCoin DAO has launched its official marketplace. It's this website right here. And they tell me not to go there because it's suspicious. Check that out on my own time. I don't really have a reason to go there, to be honest with you. I want to find the metaverse for ApeCoin. Where the heck is it at? It sounds like a good question for ChatGPT, right? So let's duplicate. Let's go ask ChatGPT, where the heck is the metaverse for Bored Ape Yacht Club? See if it'll let me use my mic. Does Bored Ape Yacht Club project, crypto project, have a metaverse built yet? Question mark. I have no idea what it does for you guys when I click record. If it's silent, could you hear that? I have no idea. I don't usually do that live, right? So when I just see what exists so far, I'm going to go with no. So here's some what I found on Yuga Labs. Those are the creators. Does have a metaverse project in progress, but is not fully live yet. It's still in developmental or testing phases as of the latest reports. Okay. So they're getting close, it seems like, but they don't have it. And it's called The Other Side. I do remember that. And there have been sales of virtual land. This is probably why I thought it was going to come out soon. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. I've never done that live, so I was wondering if it would just kind of separate it from you guys. Anyways, it says there has been sales of virtual land tied to The Other Side called Other Deed, NFTs, etc. They are intended to map the plots in the Other Side world. So basically they're selling land, right? And there's probably going to be a tax on anything that happens in the land. I mean, they really need to give something, I feel like, to all the people who bought very expensive NFTs. They kind of need like a cool, very exclusive, because Bored Ape Yacht Club is very much about exclusivity. They'll probably try to bring people in, but they'll still kind of hold them back because they don't have the real expensive ones. I don't know how they'll do it, but, you know, if you buy land in there, you might make a bunch of money. There will probably be people with a lot of money involved in this when it launches. Maybe they're like waiting for the right time to launch, you know? Are we actually going to get some GameFi action? That would be a good time to launch this thing. The project is still in members-only testing phase. Okay, so they do have a members-only testing phase. I'm surprised the whole thing is not members-only. So what's not in yet or is unclear? Other Side is not fully launched as, you know, live complete metaverse with promised features. Many features are still being built and tested. There is no public confirmation that the entire metaverse is fully operational. Okay, that's saying the same thing twice there. Well, that pretty much answered my question as far as that goes. Probably be using ChatGPT to answer some of our curiosities more often. So I've got quite a few things written down for next Friday's show here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I could do this for hours and hours and hours, but, you know, will we retain attention? Let's check out how many people we have on the live. All right, so it seems like we had a nice little peak, but it's also kind of fallen down since then. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Shout out to everybody for being here. I appreciate you, Reliable Jay, and of course everybody else who came in here. Garden Warrior, I'm sorry. I see you said, hey, everyone. I did miss that. But I appreciate everybody being here. Joshua Brining, of course, I appreciate you stopping by. I don't know if you're still in here. And Keaton Bailey, hopefully you saw us. Actually, we did play some games. We did look at some actual games. Hopefully you caught that. Everybody like, share, subscribe. Send this to somebody who loves cryptocurrency. Join the Discord, of course. And we'll be back Monday with Mystery Monday, where we'll be going over all kinds of projects that I've handpicked. It lets me actually build a show that's not so much wrapped around a specific topic, but just actual things I want to look at and show you guys, things that I think will help raise your crypto IQ. So let's continue raising that crypto IQ together. And of course, stay underground, stay crypto. I'll catch you in the next one. Reliable J says, good info. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, man. Check me out in the Discord. Still going to continue that DAG constellation deep dive that I was doing, and I need to continue my Telegram gaming stuff, very relevant to this stream, that I was going to put into the channel I have over on Discord. So look out for that.